Hey, this week on This Is Gravel, we talk open range, we talk epic, we put Vinny on a podium, and we have some social media.
Love that social media.
Boom. Hey, welcome to This Is Gravel. I'm Bobby Thompson. Sitting with me today, as always.
Yes, always. Neil Taylor, what's up?
I like for you to say your own name. It kind of gives that, that way I don't say it wrong. I wouldn't want to say Nail Taylor or something like that.
It's happened. I've called myself the wrong name, though, before. Yes, it's happened many times in life.
Neil, what's been going on?
Oh, well, let's see. I was out racing this past weekend. Did the open range out in Pratt, Kansas.
Nice. How many miles?
126.
126 miles.
Yes, it was a 200K, and so they had a 100K option, 200K option. I opted for the 200K and
single speed.
Single speed, yes.
Absolutely.
I changed my gearing beforehand because the elevation profile with Ride with GPS said it was going to be around 3,000, 3,500 feet.
So you went with a 59?
Yeah, that'd have been great. No,
right.
42.18, and I'm still not even a year into riding single speed, and so
that's 42.18.
So I found that to be pretty tough. The first 36 miles, pretty flat, very sandy. A lot of people weren't used to the sand.
A lot of squish.
Yeah, a lot of just kind of moves you around a little bit. But rolling into Pratt, Sun City, I was averaging about 17 miles an hour. I was doing pretty good for myself, I thought. But then leaving Sun City, there was about a 5 or 6 mile climb, and it started off gravel, then it changed to pavement, and then we hit open range.
Okay.
And for the next, I would say 40 miles after that, at least maybe 35 of it was open range.
Okay.
The one section that wasn't really open range was a long, steep, paved climb that I was rolling at a mighty 3.5 miles an hour. Yes, it was.
So there was a little bit of mashing going on at that point.
Yes, a little bit of mashing. You get to the top of it, though, and we turn to this just beautiful view again with open range roads. The views out there were beautiful. You're getting to see places that a lot of folks don't see. A lot of private land that they took us through. I had a blast. I had a tough day on the bike. One, the gearing was a little tough. Two, fought toe cramps from about mile 50 all the way through the finish line. And so
it got a little bit warm.
It got a little warm
for what we're used to at this time of year, right?
We haven't had any warm days. We've been riding in 50, 60-degree weather, and all of a sudden we get a day in the mid-70s,
right?
Where the sun is beating on you all day. And yeah, when I rolled across the finish line, folks were saying I had enough salt on my face.
You look a little sunburned right here.
Yeah, I got a little bit of sun.
Yeah.
We got some back over here
too.
I see
that.
I applied sunscreen twice, but I had enough salt on me to fill a salt shaker.
Nice.
Folks thought. So it was a pretty rough day, but an awesome ride. Okay. They really did a great job putting it on. It was sponsored by Legends Pub and Grill right there in town. Great burgers. They took care of us. Really, like I say, good event. Especially in their first year, I think they did a fantastic job, and I plan on going back next year.
Yeah, they had a good turnout, I saw.
Yeah, great turnout. I think 200 between the two distances, around 280 riders.
Very good.
So yeah, good time. What have you been up to, Bobby?
Not that.
Not that?
No, that sounds like a lot. I covered for my cohort, my workmate Adam went to the open range with you to support Jessica, his fiance. So I stayed back, covered the shop, which is fun in its own right because you get to meet so many people coming and going, and I got to celebrate the 5 o'clock time period. The Glass Blown Open in Emporia, Kansas concluded, and they had their downtown street party.
Cool.
So even though I didn't go to a race, I got food truck food. And there's nothing better than food truck food, right? Yeah. So it was still a fun Saturday, watching people coming and going, eating food truck food, seeing all the disc golfers out there, watching their award ceremony. It was a lot of fun.
I saw about some of those food trucks online, man. Those.
Oh, dude,
I feel like I might have missed out on some good food.
No, they had the food. I bet there was 10 to 12. There was an IHOP food truck. I had never seen. Okay. No, hold on. I have one rant. There was an IHOP food truck with no pancakes. No pancakes. No waffles. They served hamburgers. Right. I would have eaten a tall stack of pancakes. But it was still good. The hamburgers were good. Yeah, I'd never seen or heard of the IHOP food truck. So IHOP, pancakes on the food truck. We want some Belgian waffles, maybe some chicken. Chicken and waffles on the food truck, right? Okay. So short rant. Sunday I went out and did 70 miles. It was mostly pavement because the radar showed green everywhere.
Yeah. And
I just got sprinkled on a little bit. So I did 70 miles of pavement on Sunday and got a little riding in. So, cool. But all right, cool. Let's see. You were at Open Range, but producer Matt was quite a ways away from you.
Yes.
Down at Lake of the Ozarks at the Epic, right? Epic 150, I believe. Matt, you got some highlights for us and talk a little bit about that?
Hey, Bobby and Neil, you're right. We were over at Lake of the Ozarks State Park this weekend over in Missouri, about a 4-hour drive straight east of here in Emporia. First, before we get started, let's take a look at the highlights we made from this weekend. Gravel Guru fans, here are your highlights from the 2018 Epic 150 in 90 seconds. Hey, as you can tell from the highlight clip, just an absolutely gorgeous area we were over at Lake of the Ozarks. Let's get into some of the highlights and interviews we took over there this weekend. Let's start out with this interview from race promoter Josh Schrock.
It's just been amazing. All the racers, they're loving the course. They're riding strong. The hills are definitely hurting, but it's just beautiful out here.
Last couple of years, I believe this is your guys' third year, been plagued by some weather issues. What's it like for you to have this feeling today?
It really is amazing. It's a big stress off of me. We love the first year. We had great weather on race day, but we had this big creek that was really hard to get through. Not having to do that this year, I'm not freezing in ice cold water for an hour or two, so it's really good. The racers love it.
As a race promoter, what's it like? The finishers aren't in yet, but kind of hearing this build up, you hear that there's a crew just out there coming quick.
It's exciting to see everybody that's out there. They're coming in fast. It's been a super fast year. I think they're going to set a record this year, so it's so exciting to see that. But then we just love the enthusiasm of all the people that are following, that are stopping. We've got a checkpoint with beer and bacon, and they're stopping and taking some, so that's fun to see.
For someone that might not have ever rode in the Ozarks, why would you tell them to come and take part in this race next year?
No matter what the weather is, the gravel is always good here. It drains fast. It's usually fat. It's not that chunky. And then just the hills and the beauty. You get hills every place else, but these are up and they're just different, and it's hard to really explain without coming here and riding.
To anybody that's ever been around a race, we know you can't put them on by yourself. Who are some of the people and partners that have helped out to make this possible?
You know, I've got my good friends Don Daly and Kent Warman. They've really been a huge player and right there with me, helping me the whole time. They're the biggest help. And then all the racers, the promoters, the volunteers. We've got a whole group of volunteers. That changes all the time. But just people, local people, people coming from around the country that are supporting other racers, and that's been the best help.
It's always fantastic getting to talk to race promoters over at these events. A lot of times you find yourself standing around the finish line before the winners get back, and so you have a lot of time to chat about riding out in these areas and really just get an idea about the cycling culture over in their region. Speaking of the winners coming in, let's hear from our first place men's winner on the Tradewind Energy team, Joseph Smalls. What was it like out there today for you?
It was a lot of fun. It was a great race. The course is incredible. The scenery and the terrain is namesake. It's epic. It's really a great event, and extremely difficult. Like I haven't done a lot of gravel racing yet, but I can't imagine there's a harder course out there. Like this, it was incredible. So.
Talk to me a little bit about the thought process throughout the day, maybe even the week coming up. You know, I'm sure you've seen photos and heard the stories about the years previous. What was it like thinking about that before you came here? And then walk me through your day.
Yeah, it was. I raced last weekend, so it was all about rest and trying to recover and get ready for this weekend. And knowing the terrain, it was just really picking equipment and make sure you had the right gearing and making sure like you're rested and ready to go. So, because it's going to be a long day for everyone. So.
We saw you guys several places out there on the course. When did you guys break away from the rest and really separate yourselves?
Pretty sure the three of us got hooked together after the third stop, and then it was the three of us from then on, basically. So I think that was mile 80 or so, 89 maybe, or something like that. So,
what was other than winning, the best thing about the day out there?
Oh, I think the best thing was having all three of us together. It was a pretty cool experience having all three teammates together all day. So I think that was probably the most fun. So,
anything else you'd like to add about the day?
No, I mean, I think it's a heck of an event. I love it. Definitely would be coming back for this. So even though it's extremely difficult, but it's the scenery is amazing. So.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Joseph. Joseph came in just over 8 hours on his run on the 150 this weekend. For the overall winner of the female division, we had Vinny, our friend from Cantu Wheels. Let's hear from her. How was your day out there today?
It was good. I kind of tamed back, held back a little bit at the start. Just learned my lessons from Land Run and Castella, other gravel grinders. Tried not to chase the front group because I knew there was a lot of climbing ahead of me. So.
Climbing, I think that was a big part of the day. What was that like for you out there?
Something like everything I expected. But it still was a shock to my legs, and I mean it was just a roller coaster. You'd go like 30 miles downhill, and then all of a sudden it'd just pitch up, and then sometimes you'd get a running start, sometimes you're just like cranking from the bottom. So it was really exciting.
Starting through the day, a little chilly this morning. Walk me through how kind of your day went throughout the day.
Man, we had a perfect morning to start with. I just had sleeves on and a neck gaiter. Probably the second checkpoint, mile 59. I took those off, and then it was like sunshine, some headwinds here and there, but like, I don't know, it was just a gorgeous day. So around mile 89, that's when I caught the first place girl, and I didn't really realize it until several hours later.
What was your favorite part of the day out there?
Oh, wow. So before going into the loop, probably like mile 80, there was just, I think there's like this dam, this tunnel dam bridge, and you could like see for miles upon miles, and you could see like the climbs you were headed towards. So that was just beautiful. The views, everything, the whole ride and course is gorgeous.
Anything else you'd like to add about today?
Anyone who finished, who went out there, like, props to you guys, because this is not a walk in the park. Like, this is one of the toughest courses I've ever ridden. So good job, guys.
Thank you, Vinny, so much for taking your time after winning that race there at just over 10 hours to talk with us. Awesome day out in the Ozarks. If you haven't had a chance, make sure you check out the Gravel Guru Facebook page, and you can see the photos from the event. We had over 500 posted. Back to you, Bobby and Neil.
Sweet. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so that has been on my radar for the past 2 years, and things just always come up. Last year I had the rough trip to England to ride over there, and this year I was covering for some friends. So I definitely have interest in killing myself on those climbs. How about you? Would you go out there single speed and go give it a whirl?
Single speed
Or would
scares
you
me to
sneak
death.
gears out there?
I looked at the finishers, and there were 3, I think, single speed finishers. On the race.
Gabby, our friend Gabby broke her chain on one of the
Gabby
climbs.
broke her chain.
You're talking about one of the tough riders out there. So
Andrew and Thomas finished, and then I don't know who the third individual was, but Thomas said that he did the 150 on a single speed fat bike. I'll pass. No, thank you. I don't want 15,000 feet of elevation climb on a fat bike single speed. But definitely it's something that I'm thinking about in the future.
Absolutely.
The pictures did look awesome.
Our good friend Corey Smith who actually won fat bike down there. We had some friends down there. Vinny, our friend, good friend of ours from Cantu Cycling. She won women's down there, right?
Yep.
All right. So
Good
that
stuff.
was sweet. And I heard she was a little bit excited.
I could understand that just a little.
Right. So very cool. Yeah, definitely want to get down there. Hopefully next year. Hopefully it's not competing dates again with Open Range, but if it is,
So many events
we'll
going
know
on.
what it is. Okay. Tons of pictures came in. The weather was great. Seems like everywhere the weather was great this weekend. So let's toss it over to Matt and see some social media.
Hey guys, you're absolutely right. Tons of social media coming in on the Gravel Guru Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages this last week. We alone on the Gravel Guru crew were at 3 events, so imagine all the other events going on out there with Trans Iowa, Covered Bridges 100, the Epic, the Open Range, just so many great things going on. Let's get started with this week's social media. Todd sent in this photo from the inaugural Open Range 200K in Pratt in Medicine Lodge, Kansas. Check out that view. Jonathan was up in Canada at the Paris to Ancaster bicycle race. What an awesome race that looked like up there. Jeremiah Johnson got in 56 miles of bike path and single track action in the Quad Cities area. Jason Scherer was up at Trans Iowa version 14. Said it was absolutely amazing. 345 miles, 33 hours of riding, and 20,000 plus feet of climbing. Says he'll have a full write-up on his blog later this week at ordinaryepics.com. Trevor Bridges went out on a short gravel ride to check on the local single track conditions. Bruno was out and did 75 kilometers in Portugal. Cassie Krotz and friends were over at the Cover Bridges 100K in Madison County, Iowa. Said it was a fun ride. Dean Johnson got in a 60-mile training ride on the Sugar River Trail in southern Wisconsin. Said they're working out some final kinks hopefully for the coast-to-coast gravel grinder coming up in a few weeks. Samantha was also over at the Open Range gravel event over in Pratt. Said it was a fantastic inaugural event. Don was over where we were, over at the Epic this weekend. Said the riding was a good challenge and the scenery is beautiful. Loved the whole race. The weather wasn't as epic as last year, but an amazing race nonetheless. Says he highly recommends it, and I'd agree. Kurt Schneider got 45 miles in riding south of Boise, Idaho. Cool and windy conditions, but said it was a great day for a ride. As always, if you want to submit your social media photos for use here on Gravel Guru, make sure you use the hashtag #ThisIsGravel.
Awesome, guys. We thank you for those pictures. We love seeing them. Lots of races going on all over, like we mentioned already. Epic, Open Range, Trans Iowa this past weekend. And there's a bunch of other ones, too. So we thank you guys for those pictures. Again, make sure you're tagging them with This Is Gravel. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all those other wonderful places. Matt's got a website as well for Gravel Gurus, so make sure you're checking that out. I know, can you believe it? And of course, if you want to follow myself, Minister of Gravel, or if you want to follow Bobby, I mean, he's got enough followers as it is already. You can follow him at The Casual Cyclist, but we love that kind of stuff again, and we love being in contact with you guys and seeing what you're doing. So make sure you're following us, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.